One person we don't really know the status of moving on to next year, and that's Tampa Bay's Tom Brady. And a lot of people were asking questions before the game yesterday after some comments he made speculating, is Tom Brady going to come back next season? I think a lot of us thought it was kind of a foregone conclusion that he would, but now he's starting to put some stuff out there that is definitely making people question things, especially if you're a Tampa Bay fan. Tom Brady talks about potential retirement decision. Now, he has the Let's Go podcast that he does. We have several quotes from him on this, and we're going to read through them all here. Rick Stroud puts all these out. Tom Brady on his Let's Go podcast about his wife and family in football. It pains her to see me get hit out there, and she deserves what she needs from me as a husband, and my kids deserve what they need from me as a dad. I said this a few years ago. It's what relationships are all about. It's not always what I want. It's what we want as a family. And I'm going to spend a lot of time with them and figure out the future and what's next. The team doesn't deserve anything less than my best. And I feel like if I'm not committed to that, or I can't play at a championship level, then you got to give someone else a chance to play. And, we'll see. Playing football, I get so much joy from. I love it. But not playing football, there's a lot of joy in that for me also now, too, with my kids getting older, seeing them develop and grow. So all these things need to be considered, and they will. Now, I think that's probably you guys' first time seeing all of that. Jeremy, what's your thoughts initially about these statements?
To me, I can't see him retiring off of the way that they lost that game. I just can't. I understand family's important, and it's just like anybody, family's important to anybody, but his legacy is also important to him. And I think Stephen A said this today because I was listening to some of their stuff on the YouTube channel, on the ESPN YouTube channel, but I agree with him. I think Brady needs to go into this final year or this next year and announce that it's his final year so he can be properly celebrated like the greats have been, because he's earned that. He deserves that. Give the team a heads up. That way there's no distraction about it. Everybody understands this is it right here. We have to all be a cohesive unit. We need to be committed to this is Brady's last year. Let's send him out on a high horse and call it a career. One more year for him. I think it's going to happen. Will he announce it? I don't know, but he probably should. But I can't see him retiring. I just can't. Obviously, he's putting that out there. Tom Brady's smart. He doesn't put anything out there that he doesn't want out there for a reason, So he's putting that out there because he wants people to talk about it. I mean, he is a professional athlete. Spoiler alert, professional athletes have egos, big-time egos. You don't get to that level without having an ego. This is a guy who literally will not walk. He won't get out of the game. If they're up 45 to nothing, he still won't let the backup come in because he has an ego because it's his team.
Yeah.
So, Brady has an ego just like any other, top tier professional athlete. So he likes that he's still going to be relevant and in that discussion. So I think he returns next year for sure. I don't think he retires.
What about you, Robert?
I originally thought he would definitely play, but some of the way he talked towards the end of the season, in the interviews he gave leading up to this game and in the interviews thereafter, he sounded like he had doubt. Now some of that with quarterbacks, they historically just suddenly drop off. They don't have like a steady decline. It's just all of a sudden it's gone. Mm-hmm. If there's any possibility he's feeling that's starting to happen at any level, and there weren't many signs of it this year. The last game was the only time you saw any sort of weak links there, in terms of the possibility that things might fade. But he's not the kind of guy that will play out the string if he doesn't think he's playing at the top level. He doesn't want anyone to ever see. I mean, I don't think he wants. Even though Manning got to go out with a Super Bowl win, that last season was a tough, rough season for him. Mm-hmm. And I don't think he wants to ever have that kind of season where, he doesn't want to be carried off like Brett Favre was. And I think I don't think he's got that long to make the decision, because if you're the Bucs, the way things move, you don't want to be in Brett Favre, like with the Packers or with Favre. Maybe I'm coming back. Maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm coming back. Maybe I'm not. You want more certitude. And so I think if he thinks he can come back and win, and is not worried about any slippage, then I think he still comes back for one last season. And I agree, he should announce it in advance. Say, this is it. This is the last hurrah. Mm-hmm. and also to let Tampa know so they can plan accordingly. But it was always kind of a 3-year plan at Tampa. I don't think he thought he'd win the Super Bowl right away. I think he was giving himself 3 years to win a Super Bowl at Tampa. I think the fact that he won it that first year always, left a little bit in his mind of, I kind of achieved what I set out to achieve. That it was me, not Belichick.
Yes.
Yep.
And that's it.
And he's already kind of proven that back-to-back seasons. I mean, but yeah, I think the only way he doesn't come back is if he thinks he's slipping in ways that maybe others don't know, but he recognizes. Because it is weird how it is with quarterbacks. It's just sudden that, if you watch them statistically, like it was late last year with Roethlisberger. And, that's why he only came back for one last year. But late 2/3 of the season, all of a sudden, old Ben was just not there anymore. The passes were just not crisp. They weren't coming out timely. He was slow. It's the mental decision-making just goes a little bit slower. And physically, the arm just loses that little bit of the edge. I didn't see a lot of signs of that in the game. So I don't, unless he knows something we don't, I think he'll be back. If he's not back, I think it's because he didn't think he could have another great season come back.
I think that there's a couple things. I don't think it's really about physical. I think he may be in the best physical condition of his life, literally right now. He was first in yards and first in touchdowns this year. Even with injuries to some key players on that offense, he still led the league in yards and touchdowns at 44 years old, which is phenomenal. I think it's going to depend on what they can do with this team, the entire team. AB is now gone. I think Gronkowski comes back for another year if Tom Brady's there. But we saw them return, all the guys on that defense. It was tough. They had to make a deal with Shaq Barrett and Ndamukong Suh, Pierre Paul, all these guys. That's a lot of talent and a lot of money to figure out. I don't really know what their salary cap looks like. I don't know what their contracts look like. But the other side of that
should get back, but he might not be back till late.
And the other side of that is, do you want to retool that aging defense with some talent, but some age that has been injured this year? So I think that's the decision for Brady. It's what team does he think he can have around him? And does he want to come back for that? Because if he thinks they're going to return not a talented team, he doesn't want his last year to be, 9-8. Right. That's what he doesn't want. So if he's confident about the team, I think he comes back regardless of everything he's saying about his family. I think he's willing to put off the family life one more year like he has for so long to come back for a chance to go out on top. I think Tom Brady's coming back.
And he needs to announce it. He needs to announce, this is it. This is my final year. We're locked in. We're going to do this. That's what he needs to do.
Yep. I mean, Elway sort of set that tradition of trying to go out on top. Go out, and then Manning got to repeat that by, his last game was winning the Super Bowl with his kids out there. Yep. So that's obviously, and Brady has said that's the way he wants to leave. Probably it's if he believes that he has a very good chance of winning a Super Bowl, he comes back. If for some reason he doesn't, then he probably hangs it up. Yeah. And he probably joins the like Romo becomes probably a commentator is my guess.
I don't think so.
I don't see it, but I didn't see Romo doing it, and Romo's turned out to be I love it when Tony Romo's announced, but I just can't see Brady doing it. But for the longest, I never would have saw Brady doing a lot of the memes and stuff he does of himself, and all that, years ago, you would have never saw that side of him. So I really don't know, but I don't see it, but who knows?
It's what a lot of them are doing, but we'll see what happens with Tom Brady's future.